Hello there. How's it going? I Oops, I had to mute. Oh, sorry. Wrong one. Hi, Gary. And hi, Red Angel. Thanks for joining. Yeah, so I was saying in the chat just before the stream began that we'll see how this goes tonight because it's a bit partly cloudy right now, and I had set up that it's been kind of varying between being completely clear and completely cloudy, and right now it's for the last half hour or so it's been like this. So I had tried to um, go ahead and start uh, horizontal calibration of the both scopes, but I don't know if it actually succeeded. Um, I usually pick. I had set them out and I unpark them, or do the startup sequence in the Seestar ALP software. Um, Going in here and picking startup sequence and running that on both of them, which kind of uh, unparks it and kind of points it up at a neutral position in the sky. But then I went ahead and scheduled this star Rasselhag, um, and but I don't know if it actually succeeded. Actually, I can check because I've got I still have one of the scopes is being monitored um, through the app, so we'll see what it says. And I still haven't had a chance to upgrade my network, unfortunately. You missed the live stream. Yeah, I had a live stream. I don't know when my last one was. I think it was Friday last week or Saturday. I forget. Um, but the weather either didn't cooperate or other things came up. Okay. I don't know that that's the star, but you can see the clouds kind of passing through the field of view. So we will see how this is going to work. Now, supposedly it actually wasn't even supposed to be this cloudy. Well, I guess earlier, but it supposedly is clearing. But I mean, it says there'll be clouds, but I think they're relatively slow moving. So I was hoping to kind of image between them, but we will see. Oops, didn't mean to make that full screen. Yeah, so we'll see. We shall see. And see, like, looking at the live view, I mean, sure, there's clouds on it, but it's able to get some detail. So maybe these clouds maybe it'll be able to, at the very least, point at the target so it won't fail on everything. It's kind of disappointing. I hope it clears up. If not, tomorrow evening might be pretty good. Yeah, it's claiming, 0% at this point tomorrow. And actually Friday evening looks good. So this might be a relatively short live stream. And Saturday, actually. If we end up having 3 nights in a row of clear weather, I don't know if I'll do 3 live streams. Maybe I'll do what I've been talking about doing of having maybe 1 or 2 and then do the rest on Twitch. But we'll see. In the meantime, I was looking at doing mosaics tonight, and I was trying to figure out. See, the problem is there's these tools that do mosaic planning, where you can say, okay, I want to do 3 frames by 3 frames, overlap at 50%. The problem is it's there's equatorial versus alt azimuth, and the Seestar by default is alt azimuth, whereas all of these Mosaic calculators are based on equatorial mounts, which makes sense because it's kind of it would be difficult to really plan the Mosaic, I think, like robustly. Well, it could be done, but it would just be a little bit more complicated, a lot more complicated. But see the angle that Andromeda is in this tool, but when I go to Stellarium to actually see what it is going to look like this evening around midnight or 1 in the morning. Yeah, almost 1 in the morning. Oops. You can see it's not quite. It's completely. It's less of an angle and completely the other direction. So, and this red overlay is the field of view for the Seestar in alt azimuth mode. I have it actually in equatorial mode. See, that's what it would be like in equatorial mode, which is why this Mosaic, I think, looks like this. Yeah, because you can see, I guess I think that's M110 is right here above and to the right. Whereas, yeah, if it's basically, this would be above and to the right in this kind of alignment. But since I'm not shooting equatorial, this is what I have to deal with. So a 3x3 Mosaic might be, it would be fine for kind of top to bottom, but side to side, it might not be enough. So I don't know. I've basically, that's what I was trying to figure out before the stream, but that's not going to be until later this evening anyway. So I think in the meantime, I'm going to start figuring out what targets. I actually was going through the list of things that I had imaged previous nights, and there were a few things that I had thought about doing that I forgot about and haven't tried recently. I don't know if I'm going to do it tonight, but it just partly because of clouds and partly I'm not sure if I'm going to be up super late, but tomorrow or Friday, if I live stream those nights, one of the nights I want to stay up later, and after midnight I might be able to image Pluto, and there's somewhat of a reason. There's a few things that I plan on doing with that. At the very least, I'm going to give it a try. So in the meantime, let's go back to what I was looking at imaging tonight. Oh, that's tomorrow. Okay. Pluto. Yeah, these I have after midnight targets. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, 2x4 Mosaic and alt azimuth worked. Yeah. Yeah, that's good to know, Tech Gamer. I might give that a try if I end up doing the Mosaic tonight. I already have it in I already have a file in my editor here where I have M31 and it's a 3x3, but so I could easily change that. And I might do that. Basically, there were a couple of targets. I went ahead and exported them out of the Seestar ALP software. But yeah, so there were there's a few things after midnight that oh, so that was one other thing. Sorry to jump to other topics, but these live streams I've been starting, the live observing streams I've been starting at around 9:30, and since the summer solstice was a few weeks ago, the sun's setting about 20 minutes earlier. So starting next week, I might move it back a half hour to 9 p.m. Central Time, U.S. Central Time, and then I was basically, I want to start it around the same time, the same amount of time after sunset. So right around nautical twilight, um, the end of nautical twilight, beginning of astronomical twilight is, or maybe a little later than that, is where I've been kind of wanting to start the streams, because it's dark enough where I can start doing stuff with the telescope, start calibrating them and such. So I'll probably start moving the streams earlier and earlier as it goes into fall and then winter. Um, Live moon stream. Well, the moon is up now, but it's really low and it's kind of blocked by a building right now. One thing once the moon is kind of more uh, more visible, like when I start the stream, I want to do it again where I had one stream where in the kind of pre-stream I had done a slightly different pre-stream, not the horse at the cafe, but I had the um I had kind of some text, I think, and then in the center I actually had a live view of the moon, but it was hard to tell that it was a live view, but it was a live view, and I might start doing that. I might do that again once the moon is um, more in the sky, kind of in a position where at the beginning of the stream I can show the moon. Um, but yeah, so oh, Seestar LP earlier today, and I've been watching some of Kai's videos the last couple of hours. That's great. Yeah. Yeah, I just put that video out tonight and or yet this today, and uh and I linked to Kai's videos. Now he's controlling it without the web front end, but he kind of describes it's a good overview of like what it does. And I also linked to some other videos, but the web interface is relatively new, like within the last few weeks, and so we need to create some more videos about the web interface specifically. But if you have any questions, I definitely recommend joining the. I mean, you can ask them here or join the Discord server. Yeah. So yeah, actually, somebody on the Discord server asked this earlier today. Um, Yes, it will work if you run it on your Windows laptop and connect your Windows laptop to the Seestar network. And as a matter of fact, I didn't realize this, but Kai himself runs it that way when he's kind of out in the field with one of his Seestars. So it got official confirmation that it does work. So yeah, let me see what the situation looks like on the live view. Oh, we're clearing. We'll see how long. Yeah, the web interface does definitely make it a lot more user friendly, which is why, yeah, we need to have more videos. And the good thing is more people are starting to use it, and so some of these things are coming up. Like people have been asking about, a video about how to not just start a mosaic, but actually how do you process the mosaic. And we haven't, I don't think there's any Seestar ALP specific video that shows that workflow, even though there's several people who are using basically very similar workflows. But that's somebody will get to that video. I'm not promising it'll be me, because there's been a few times where I was like, oh, I could do it, but I had some other things going on, and so someone else ended up doing the video. But yeah, hopefully that'll be new videos showing like the workflow. because it's not that complicated, but there's several steps, and so it's helpful to have it kind of mapped out. Um, I know I kind of had to ask a lot of questions. Um, uh, yeah. So yes. This is the thing. If you go into the Seestar app, and so this is the iPad app, but it would work the same on your phone or whether you have Android. So what you definitely want to make sure you do, if you haven't already, in the settings, go to advanced and make sure you save every frame. So that'll save all the subframes. Now, one thing that's kind of cool is you can go, let me close out a few of these windows here before I bring this on stream. You can actually, the Seestar is actually, it shows up on your network. So I have 2 Seestars running right now. So it only picks one of them, but this is one of them. And so I can go look in here, and this works on Windows as well. Oops. Hold on a second. I realized I need to turn on Do Not Disturb so I don't get like alerts. But yeah, so you can see now this is kind of slow because it's on my network, because like the telescopes are downstairs and the Wi-Fi signal's not great. But if you're directly connected, you can actually bring up the Seestar in kind of file finder or explorer, and you can find whatever target you're imaging, and you can grab all the subframes. And so theoretically, you can even have it monitor this, like have some other software and live stack it, theoretically. At the very least, I usually wait until it's done, and then I grab all the subframes and run them through Serial and stack them that way. Yeah, no, that's great. You got Seestar LP running on MX Linux. That's great. Yeah, the Seestar's really nice. Yeah, that it was one of those days. I mean, it's been added, a lot of it's been added to, but yeah, the initial version was fairly quickly written. Does the built-in stack Mosaic, are you talking about within the Seestar app itself, or the Seestar API? The stack Mosaic? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, as far as I know, that doesn't do anything. Which is kind of strange, because I guess the Seestar is based on the ASI Air firmware or software, and that has mosaics. So theoretically it should work, but it doesn't. They've been promising for a while built-in mosaics, but they've been saying it's on their list, and they have for a few months, but ASI Air already supports it. So theoretically it should be relatively straightforward, but maybe not. Let me take a sip. Moon Mosaic, that might be interesting. I guess if the moon was, I mean, because the moon completely fits in the field of view. Sorry, bounces. It gets stuck sometimes when the message goes off the screen. Anyway, yeah, because the moon fits completely in the field of view, but if you're trying to do, I mean, like a landscape, I know there's somebody who was asking about being able to do a landscape mosaic. That would be cool because it does scenery. There's scenery mode, and so theoretically, if you wanted to take a photo of something a little bit more distant, but slightly bigger than the field of view, a mosaic mode for scenery mode would be, or mosaics for scenery mode would be cool. But yeah, you can go, like earlier, I was imaging this star, and so, but I've also imaged it on previous nights, so let's see if it actually worked. No, it didn't. It didn't work because there's no stack from today. But yeah, you go here and you can get, yeah. So theoretically, and that's actually something I want to try once I sort out my wireless network and improve its speed. I want to use this functionality of being able to attach to the Seestar while it's running and run like some real live stacking software on my computer desktop and have it monitor the folder where it's the Seestar's putting the frames, the subframes, and kind of live stack it on my computer. I want to try that out, but I haven't been able to yet because my network is just really slow. I mean, it's not the network per se. It's just that I've got the Seestar kind of at the edge of its edge of the signal, if that makes edge of the. Oh, look, sorry, I'm kidding. It looks like it's definitely getting a little bit better. So let me get back to what I was planning on doing. And oh, see that it's probably out of view already. I was wanting to image the blaze star again, but yeah, let's bring it back to now. Yeah, it's obstructed. I have really bad obstructions at my house as far as other buildings. Like you can see, it's this is kind of the silhouette of all the buildings, and I basically can only see almost like up. Let me see. I had elephant's trunk. Actually, so there were a few targets that I had started the other day, and I was thinking of doing more with them. So one of them is M27. That is visible now. The Dumbbell Nebula. And I had put down NGC 6940. If you've watched some of my previous live streams, you'll have seen that I image some of these targets, but I'm trying to get more data from them. Part of it, I want to do this one. It's an open cluster, but the fact it's called the Mothra cluster kind of I find interesting. So that could be a video unto itself. It's relatively simple. I don't remember the app, but well, so there's apps, and then there is a what do you call it? A website that uses kind of the internal kind of sensors in your phone. And what you do is, so you get this thing running and you just kind of, move smoothly in a circle with your phone, kind of tracing, like I think it has the camera on, and basically you trace kind of the outline of things around you. You just kind of rotate in one circle, and it'll dump out those coordinates as like CS comma separated values. So it'll have like how many degrees and what the elevation is. And then unfortunately, it's not like the most user-friendly thing to do, which again is why I've thought that maybe that might be something to do in a video. Oops, let me see if I can find that. Stellarium. Is it here? No. It's resources. Is it landscapes? No. Oh, yeah, it's landscapes. So it's very non-obvious. Basically, you have to, on the Mac, you have to go find a specific directory, and I created one called My Backyard, and basically it has this ini file that just references this horizon file, which is just those values I was talking about, where it's like 0 to 360 degrees. So the first number is like, like how far around the circle it is, and the second number is how high it is, the elevation is. And when you create these two files and then restart Stellarium, no, not wrong window. Is it that one? Yeah. Then you'll end up with this My Backyard. And so, like I say, it's not hard. It's just kind of a little it's not, you have to edit text files, and it's not like, it's not super user friendly. But yeah, once you do that, then I have that, and because I save the default settings, so I have that set as my default landscape, and so when I start up Stellarium, it always starts up with that on. But I can like switch it off. I mean, that switches it completely off, but then sometimes I'll switch to kind of the flat horizon if I want to see what the actual horizon is, but most of the time I'm just curious about what I can actually see. Yeah, I think I'm going to do M27, M6940. I'm going to do the same thing I did the other night, I think. I'm going to just try it. Actually, I'm going to try Mothra first because I'm intrigued by the name. Let's see. Is it? Yeah, that's a current image. It looks pretty clear, so we might actually be good to go. So I'm going to use A, which is in this live view. It's this one. So this is A, this is B. Unfortunately, the Andromeda galaxy, I don't know if it's up yet, but it's definitely not visible for another couple hours in my backyard because of buildings. Okay. Hi, Cheap Astro, by the way. But okay, so P360, and then yeah. So the method I used is it's just the coordinates. But another way to do it is to actually take a photo, a 360 photo, and then you can then you actually get the texture of your backyard. But I ended up just doing kind of the outline, which just needs the coordinates. And even then, I need to redo it because it's got artifacts. Like this thing isn't real. This spike here isn't real. I don't know why it happened. But the rest of it is real. Like you can kind of tell if you zoom in here, like this is literally a roof, kind of a pitched roof here. Okay, right, that makes sense. I wasn't sure if maybe it did it for you. So yeah, once you take the 360-degree photo, you have to remove the sky to make it like transparent. Yeah, no, that's nice. Put a target on the screen, you line it up and take a photo. That's cool. Yeah, what I did was simpler, but not as nice to look at it because it's just kind of this silhouette. And to be fair, that's like sometimes I look at this and I'm like, what is this? Because like this is a building. I know this is a building. And I'm not sure, is this a building? And one of these, I think this wasn't actually a building, but it was like a tree, or maybe that's what this was. there was a tree, but it wasn't that high, but maybe I moved it too high up. NGC 7004. See, 7004. 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, no, they're right near the horizon for me at this point. To the southeast, so that means they'll probably be rising, but I don't know if they'll ever be high enough to. Yeah, see, the problem is that one's very low in my sky. Like it gets up, it doesn't get up high enough where it's not obstructed by buildings. But that's a galaxy, and I'm guessing the other ones are probably near that one, although maybe not. We'll see. 5. 5. 6. No, 6 is almost. Oh, it'll be visible. Oh, it's a globular. That one's a globular cluster. And then NGC 7007. Yeah, that one's not going to be, that one's probably going to be too low. Yeah, that's going to be too low. But 7006 might be doable. But that will be not until after 11. I'll make a note of that one. I do take suggestions, so I appreciate it. Let me see. NGC 7006 globular after 11 p.m. 11 p.m. my time. So I'm gonna go back to. Let me just double check the live view. Okay, so I'm gonna clear my schedule, and I'm gonna try M20. I thought I did Mothra. Let me look to see. Mothra was NGC 6940. NGC. I did take a photo of Mothra, so I'm not going to do another photo of Mothra. I did 41 exposures. I don't see Mothra in there, but that's what it's called, the Mothra cluster. So I got Mothra. So I'm not going to do Mothra again. And so Mothra I already did. I think, is the Bubble Nebula visible? Because that's some of these targets I need to get more data for. Like, I've taken photos of these before, but they're, especially from my sky, it's so faint. Yeah, I could start. No. Okay, yeah. The Bubble Nebula. I could start Bubble. Let me start with the Bubble. And I'm just going to kick off something but this one. So NGC 6. Oh, no, sorry. 7635. And I'll do an hour on that one, just because I have other things that I have the other telescope I can, and I'll use light pollution filter. I need to move my laptop so I can see this other monitor that's off screen. Does that look good? 7635. Yep. So I'll do that, and then I'll do the Crescent Nebula. Why not? I could stand to have more data for that one. Actually, maybe I'll do this globular 7006, and I'm not going to do an hour for that one. Usually 15 minutes will be enough. Don't need light pollution filter. So I'll do that one, and then I will do Crescent Nebula, just because I need more data for that one as well. And I'll do an hour for that one. And use light pollution filter. So I have 7635, which is the bubble nebula, for an hour. 7006, the globular cluster, for 15 minutes, and then Crescent Nebula for an hour on Seestar A, which is the one on the right. So I'm just going to go ahead and start that. So that will get, so that should be starting. And what else? So the one on the right should start moving, which we can see it's blurred. So hopefully it won't fail with these clouds. Hopefully it'll have enough to go off of. Let me see. Actually, if I switch to this other page, then I can bring the logs over here. I do want to put some of this in the web interface so it's easier, because there's still a few things where I end up looking at the logs or go to the command line. And this is one of them. Like, theoretically, plates all failed. That's not good. Because that means it was having a hard time acquiring the target, which is, maybe that means there was a cloud in the way. Let me see, what is it doing? Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Dope, indeed. Oh man. It says auto go to working. So either it pointed at the wrong point in the sky, which is possible, because I wasn't able to do the initial calibration. So maybe that's what happened. Or there was a cloud in the way and it has failed. And it's trying to get its bearings. So hopefully, and again, plate solving failed. Hopefully this doesn't turn into another debacle. Yeah, let's see. Let's look at what the telescope's doing. Okay, there are some clouds that way. And actually that is the direction it should be pointing, I think. And I shouldn't have done this on this one. I should have done it on the other telescope, because the other telescope I can actually monitor through the app where it's, or what it's seeing. Yeah, for the logs in the web interface, yeah, probably. I mean, you can see right now, I mean, I've tried to, I said because the logs were, it was logging, but I was trying to kind of make it clear which telescope, what logs were being generated for which telescope. Since I have two of them, it's kind of makes it a little trickier, but right now they all kind of get combined into one log. And so I was going to look into splitting them and then being able to view like a specific telescope, what it's doing. But there's still more work to be done. Because like it produces a lot of output, and I had made some changes to move some of it to be debug output so it wouldn't clutter, like it was logging the commands that it's sending to the Seestar and then the commands that are coming back, these JSON payloads. Okay, so that failed, and so now it's moving on to the globular cluster, which is also going to fail because that is not going to be visible for another hour. And so that's going to completely fail, but then it should go to the Crescent Nebula. See, this is why one of the people who shows up on the live streams and who has also worked on the web interface, he always schedules when he has multiple targets like that. He'll put delays in between them or wait untils. Like you can see, like you can schedule wait until. So what I should have done is I could say, okay, go ahead and run this immediately, then do a wait until 2300, which is 11 p.m., and then start this NGC 7006. But because this first one completely failed, it just immediately went to the next one, and that's going to fail too because the object isn't even visible. So, but yeah, I do want to make probably a new tab for the logs. Just so I don't have to go look at the command line like this. Or the not the command line, but the output from the program. And plus, if you're on certain screens like that, yeah, plate itself failed again. If you're on certain screens like the one where it shows the schedule, it's polling the back end every 3 seconds, so it can update what particular item is running. But it ends up causing a lot of output in the log, so it's a work in progress. that particular functionality. Oh, and as far as I don't know if that was the question, Red Angel, but Mars is in the morning. Where am I? Okay. Okay, so this is, oh hey, it looks pretty clear. But yeah, I don't think this is going to be visible. I don't think I think that globular cluster is still behind the building. Yeah, so yeah, yeah, if you have a big mosaic, that happened to me recently. There was discussion on the Discord server, and actually it was by Kai who wrote the initial API. He was talking about having an ability when you're, I don't remember where he was going to put it, but basically when you specify the mosaic, you could also specify which panels it should shoot. So you could then basically, so it hasn't been done, but the idea is you would specify them like on a subsequent night or later that night, you'd put the same mosaic in, but then you'd add an extra field maybe where it would say, okay, redo 1.4 and 4.1, and it would just shoot those 2 panels, which would be great. That would be fantastic, because I know that's a common problem. Like if you have conditions where the clouds come through and you get a complete panel failure, or you kind of like, I miscalculated things and there was a tree, and so like it missed the beginning panel or something. Yeah. He seemed to indicate that it was doable. And then we'd have to, expose it in the front end. But if I recall correctly, the way he was proposing it would be pretty straightforward. But yeah, that would, especially when you're doing bigger mosaics, like that would be really helpful. I mean, it is very much a work in progress, and as more people use it, like it's one of those things where if there's only 3 people who use it, and it's like, we work around it. But then you have 30 people using it, and it's like, okay, we, for everybody's sake, we should come up with a solution to it. But yeah, that'll be great. I'm looking forward to that because I had some panel failures when I was doing a mosaic of Andromeda recently. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I think there were some questions about kind of the ordering of the panels, but yeah, it's yeah, it would be it's still there are definitely it's being actively developed, all of it. Although the mosaic logic's pretty stable, I think. Um, sorry. Is this actually running? Oh, succeeded. We actually had a success. Um, so as I suspected, yeah, as I suspected, the that globular cluster wasn't visible, so it failed, and now it's moved on to the Crescent Nebula, and it succeeded. So it's now um, plate solving succeeded. So we got one target going, 1 for 3. Um, and now it's as if I spoke too soon. Now it's saying failed, but maybe it's trying to do the horizontal calibration. Um, so let me. I'm just kind of updating my list. There's a bunch of things after midnight, but I'm not going to do any of these tonight. It's one of those things. I don't think I slept well last night. So I'm going to try. I'm going to try the bubble nebula again later, and I will try that NGC 7006. But in the meantime, what else did I have that I could image? Yeah, there's a bunch of things after midnight or after 11 p.m. Yeah, so I'll tell you what I'm going to try to do with yeah, I want to get Barnard's galaxy. There were several things, and there's some Messier objects I haven't taken. I've been trying to get photos of all the Messier objects, and I kind of started. This isn't all the ones I've taken, but I kind of started putting together this website. Just I've showed it on some previous live streams of some of the targets, and I need to reprocess some of these. Like I want to reprocess them with a new serial and do drizzling with it to try to increase the resolution. That's the Eagle Nebula. This one I was reasonably satisfied with the way that turned out, but again I want to reprocess it with drizzle. This was almost 2 hours of data. But yeah, I want to reprocess it. It was kind of cool. I was looking at some of these objects, and what was it? 4263. I mean, none of them were like crazy far away. That's 130 million light years. But some of them I couldn't even find a distance. Like they haven't been, nobody measured them. Yeah. And I was looking in some of like Sinbad and stuff, and they didn't have they didn't have they didn't have measurements on it, which is kind of strange. But what else? Yeah, so there's some Messier objects I'm gonna try to shoot for. So what I was saying is with Pluto, kind of as an experiment. So about midnight, it should be visible, or just after midnight. I'm not going to do it tonight, but I was looking at it and I'm like, what would be cool is if I calibrate it or not calibrate, but if I point the Seestar at one of these stars, let me find one. Let me do this one. Sometimes it gets a little slow. Stellarium. Okay. So here's Pluto, but if you look on subsequent nights, you can see it's moving. And basically, I'm going to have several clear nights in a row, and I want to take its, what magnitude is it? I think it was like 14th magnitude. It's not too bad. 14th magnitude. Basically, I want to take photos of it on multiple nights, or basically align it on one of these stars, and then I can do like a little, 4-frame movie or something of it moving, which I thought would be kind of cool. Granted, the movement wouldn't be as, like, how much of it is based on its orbit and how much of it is based on parallax because of Earth's orbit, which is moving much faster. But anyway. So if you're on the bubble, the Iris Nebula is close by. Yeah, that might be, well, it failed on the bubble, but that was the other one. So maybe I'll go ahead and let's see what the sky's looking like. Although more clouds, that's not super promising. But I might go ahead and let me see what the iris looks like. And I want to move the time to now. Let's see. That is one that I really, yeah, no, that's a good suggestion. Based on what I've seen from other people, I need to, because of the bad skies I have here, I need to just get a lot of data on that one. So, Iris Nebula. Maybe I'll do that on the other telescope. Let me, let's see, since I haven't actually scheduled anything on the other one. I don't know why I was waiting. So let me switch to this one. This was when I tried to do the alignment earlier. Let me clear that out. And I will do (7023). Oops. And what I want to do, okay, thank you, Tech Gamer, for joining. Appreciate it. Probably you'll be doing another live stream tomorrow. I might end up doing ones tomorrow and Friday and Saturday, who knows. But yeah, keep an eye out for it. Yeah, the blue shows up pretty easily, but the dust clouds is a different matter. Yeah, let's give it a shot. I'll do an hour. I will try an hour. An hour. 3600. Use light pollution filter. Now, do I want to try to add anything to this? So this will run, I might just go ahead and try that globular again. And actually, I'll go ahead and do a wait until 2300, just in case the first thing fails. Oops, did not mean to, I double submitted. So let me try that again. So I'm going to do the iris, and I'll do it for an hour. And okay. And maybe I'll wait until 11:23:40. So that's a bit over an hour from now. So just in case, yeah, because I don't know how the behavior is if I say wait until 11 and it ends up you know, this runs for an hour and then it's 11:30. Is it going to wait another 24 hours or, so I'm just not going to risk it. I'll wait till then. And then we'll go back to which one? 7006, which is that globular cluster. I'm on a mission to try to get the globular cluster for 15 minutes. So we'll do the Iris Nebula, wait till 11:30, then start that globular cluster. So I'm going to go ahead and start. And I just realized I think I haven't turned this off night shift mode. That's better. I have night shift mode on my computer, so it starts yellowing. Yeah, so that is running. And let me go back to the other one so you make sure it's still running. It is still running. So we've got 2 running things. And let me switch back to the live view and see what we're up against. Still so cloudy. Yeah, I mean, since it is being since the conditions are being difficult and I'm not able to really kind of image some of the things I probably want to image, I might end the stream a little early tonight. Let me see what else. Yeah, so I was doing these kind of mosaic planning, but that didn't for Andromeda. But both of them are assuming equatorial, so that didn't work. It claims only 5% cloud cover. That seems like more than 5% cloud cover. Either that or it's just a very inconvenient 5% cloud cover. I still like the thermal view. It's interesting because it mirrors this the shape of the clouds, so you can tell it's pointing in the same direction, or that the field of view is fairly similar. It's not exactly. It's a little bit more cropped in because you can only see a bit of each telescope here in the thermal view, but kind of cool. Yeah, let me see what else was there. Oh yeah, there was I don't know if I ended up showing it on stream, but I had no, wrong thing. I had done, let me bring this over here. I had done some I'd been imaging a specific target on a few different nights right around the time the live stream was starting. And let me go check. Now, maybe I just pull it up from Discord. Yeah, I'll pull it up from Discord. I'd posted it on Discord. I need to put it somewhere else. Let me see. Okay. Sorry, I'm looking for this specific image that I had taken a photo of recently. Oh, yeah, this one. So I had been photographing the same target on several nights with both Seestars because the target is, by the time it got dark, I only had about half an hour, 45 minutes before it went behind one of those buildings that kind of is around me. But I wasn't sure how well I'd be able to photograph it. But basically, let me see. Let me open this in browser. So basically, I ended up um, this is highly overprocessed. That this isn't nebulosity; it's just like massive gradients and trying to kind of really bring out very faint objects. But I believe this little star that that I was kind of trying to image is a quasar, and I've been kind of I need to do a video on it, but I've been on this kind of recurring this quest of trying to image quasars further and further, farther and farther quasars. They're not necessarily fainter, but they're definitely farther. And I think I'm probably going to get more data from this one just so it's kind of, so I can have a photo where the background isn't all modeled. But this quasar is 12.9 billion light years away. I mean, it's a particularly bright quasar, like in absolute brightness, but it's like 17th, 18th magnitude. But it's of the high redshift or higher redshift quasars. It's the brightest one, I think. And yeah, I was able to image it. I forget even which constellation it's in, but yeah. So when the universe was less than a billion years old, when this light was emitted. So I think I'm done with trying to find farther things with the Seestar. Especially, I mean, this was imaged in a Bortle 9, but I was, like I say, I was kind of on a mission to image things as deep field as I could. Now this isn't looking good. Not to jump back, but there's a lot of clouds, so let's see what it's doing here. Plates all failed. And that's A. I mean, it's frustrating because like you can see stars kind of between the clouds, but yeah, hopefully this will be better. But yeah. But yeah, so the quasar, my quasar quest, it's not over, but as far as farther ones, I couldn't. There's a database. I mean, there might be ones that are farther that are bright enough for me to image from Houston, but they haven't figured out the redshifts for them yet. But the things that where there are redshifts, I couldn't find anything that wasn't like dimmer than the 20th magnitude or so. So if you had a Seestar at a really dark sky, you could probably image some of those, but not probably easily from here, because I was struggling with just intrinsic sky brightness when you have Bortle 9. But yeah, that was, like I say, I need to do a video about that because I think that's kind of interesting. That these two little telescopes, I was able to image something that far away, and it's not the only quasar. I mean, I'd imaged one that was like 7 or 8 billion light years away, and then another one that was 11, I think, 11 billion light years. So it wasn't a one-off. Like I did, and to be fair, they're fairly because they are so intrinsically bright. Now the one thing as part of that I want to, I found a list somewhere, but if I go look at, it was this one. So this was that supernova I had taken a photo of, and then there's a whole bunch of other galaxies in the field, but yeah, it's one of these. So no, not that one. No. Which one is it? did I not? 3066. Did I not? I might not have gotten the distance on some of these, but I, it was one of these where, or maybe it wasn't this one. Let me look. Basically, I had managed to pick up some galaxies that were about 1 billion light years away, and these weren't necessarily quasars. They might have been active galaxies, but they weren't like quasar levels of active. Was it this one? Oh yeah, I think it was this one. So you can 2745. Yeah, so if I so this little dot here is 450 million light years away. That's a galaxy. But then these two dots, 2725. So you can barely make them out. There are two little dots here. Like if I move off, you can see them right there. So they're genuinely there. They're 1.1 billion light years away. And this was a 4.5 hour exposure, or 4.5 hours of data that I acquired over multiple nights. And this was like in the spring, I think. But yeah, I wasn't intending to try to find these, but then I ran across a list somebody had made of other distant galaxies, and some of them I think I might be able to image, but I'm definitely interested in trying to go after some of those that are 2 billion light years away. I think one was like 3 billion light years away, and it was a supermassive galaxy, so it's fairly faint, but you can, it was theoretically within reach. So I think that'll be my next quest, is trying to image the most distant non-quasar things I can find. Oh, I did do this one. This image was processed and it was drizzled. I used the alpha version of Cyril to do the drizzling, but I need to reprocess it because it's still kind of noisier than I would like. But yeah, it was pretty cool. Very satisfying that I just unintentionally imaged a galaxy 1 billion light years away. But that's another reason why it's kind of neat to, on some of these targets where you don't, like, you're going after a specific, like, one target, and then you make the exposure longer and longer, and you end up getting something much further. Was it M3? Yeah, like this one. So this is M3, globular cluster, but then there's this clearly a galaxy here, NGC 5263, and then that dot there is a quasar. But NGC, that galaxy is 200 million light years away. That's not too bad. But yeah, you image, a globular cluster, and then you end up with this galaxy. And then that specific quasar is pretty faint, you can see. And I don't even remember how far is that one. That one is 11 billion light years away. Wow. Yeah. So this was another thing where I took an 1.5 hour exposure of this of M3, and you can see the dot there when I move it away, where it kind of removes the blue circle. You can see the dot there. It's very tiny, very faint, and that's why this exposure is a little bit mottled. It's the same reason I kind of over processed it to be able to get that quasar. So I need to get more data on this, on M3. Actually, let me look. Is M3 even visible now? autocomplete again. I typed M3 and M31 was the last one I looked at. Nope. Yeah, M3 is unfortunately obstructed for me. Yeah, I mean, it's still fairly high in the sky, but it's obstructed. Let me see what other ones. I think M3 was another one, or M13, globular cluster, where I imaged it, and then just by going further, pick up a couple of galaxies. So like that one's a very faint one. You can kind of see it's a little oblong, but this one is pretty visible. And this one is, oops, oopsies, an error. But yeah, I broke it. Yeah, I need to work on that. But yeah, so it's that's another reason why sometimes I end up getting a lot more data than theoretically I need on some of these targets, because I'm trying to bring out even more distant things. And you can see it in Stellarium when you look at these things. Oops. When you look at them in Stellarium. So you can see here, I've have it pointed at M3, and I have, by default, quasars aren't on, but I have it turned on. So here's that galaxy, and here's one of the quasars, 17th magnitude. And then there's actually another quasar in the field of view, which is also 17th magnitude, but it's not as far. Yeah, the redshift is, it's not 11 billion light years. The redshift is 0.9. Let me see. There's like these cosmology calculators. So a redshift of 0.9, 0.908. Oh, so only 6 billion light years away, or 7 billion, only 7. Yeah, only 7.5, 7.4 billion light years away. But I don't think I got it in the field of view because of field rotation. I don't think this is in the frame, but theoretically it could have been if I had kind of aligned it differently. But yeah, it's pretty impressive. But yeah, that's basically what I do is I, at least for some of these where I had kind of looked it up and then I start seeing these other little things in the frame and I'm like, what are these things? And then I'm like, oh, I want to try to image those. And so I'd end up with taking hours of exposure when I only needed like 15 minutes. But because I'm trying to get these very faint things. So I've been kind of doing that with a few other targets. Let me see if any of the ones, I don't like, a lot of the ones we're looking at now are not like that. Because there's too much foreground clutter, like stuff in the Milky Way kind of disk. You can't, it's not as straightforward to image like deep sky, background galaxies. It's more when you're looking kind of out of the galactic plane. What was I? Oh, I was going to look at my list to see if there were any other targets. Oh yeah, like, so one of the other ones I wanted to do was, it was actually interesting. I was not, why did I type that? I didn't mean to type that. But you can see, yeah, there's nothing else in the frame of this, of the Crescent Nebula. What was it? Oh, Barnard's Galaxy, which is NGC 6822. And I don't think there was anything in the frame with that. I take that back. Oh yeah, no, there weren't any. There aren't any. But yeah, this is something I want to image, but I think I have to do it after midnight. So maybe tomorrow or Friday night. But let me see how the imaging is going. Uh-oh, plate solving failed. Fail, fail, fail. Yeah, this is yeah, there are breaks in the cloud, but maybe not enough. Um oh, it failed and then it succeeded. Of course. It's going to it's going to be clear enough where it can image at least enough where it's making some progress, but it's not failing enough where I just want to stop. So, but I wonder what's happening with the other one. Did that keep going or is that failed now? Oh, schedule. Oh, yeah. So that one that I told it to run for an hour, it stopped. So now it's just waiting for the next 50 minutes. So that's kind of unfortunate. But this is still running. Yeah, I think because this is just getting very frustrating. I think I might leave it at that for tonight. This is a relatively short live stream for me. Oh, I will answer questions though. Do you use Seestars in equatorial mode? No, I need to try it. The problem is, so I have such yeah, cloud. Yep. The problem is ultimately my terrible skies here. So like, so imagine this is the horizon, like a fisheye of the horizon looking straight up. I can only see a fraction of the sky from my backyard. And so theoretically I should be able to do equatorial alignment, but because of the shape of my backyard and it having to do horizontal calibration, which would be, unfortunately, it would be more like here's north. It would be kind of doing it the narrow direction on the in the backyard, like you'd point it at a target and then it tries to move to the side, each direction to do horizontal calibration, and it does that when you're in equatorial mode too. And I think the problem is I would like the sky just, I don't have enough unobstructed sky. I might. The problem is I've tried it once or twice and I tried to do it on a night I was doing a live stream and the telescope ended up being I wasn't able to do anything that evening. I need to try it again, but not on a live stream night, a night where I'm like downstairs and I can kind of pick a target and it can hopefully be able to do the horizontal calibration. Yeah. Hi, Jovi. And yes, clouds. It's been hit or miss. See, now this looks positive, but just about every target I've tried so far this evening has ended early because of plate solve failures because of too much clouds. Of course, now it looks like, yeah, the clouds are awful there. Yeah, it wasn't supposed to be this bad here. Like Astrospheric alleged that it would be it wouldn't be this bad. But that tends to happen here where I live. I don't know if it's common in the rest of the metro area, but it definitely happens to me here. You can't sleep, so you can write some code. That's cool. Might as well be productive. and you've got it raining there. That's, well, at least I have breaks in the clouds. The problem is the exposures aren't long enough. Yeah, common in eastern New Mexico. See, I guess I assumed that where you were, Gary, it was not as cloudy. But I mean, is there a part of New Mexico that's like better for observing? I know there's some really dark areas, but like from a cloud point of view. Um, yeah. See, now I was on the verge of just kind of calling it a night, but now it seems to be okay. Um, you have to, yeah. I mean, that's why I said I'm kind of surprised it's not more clear there. Um, I then again I haven't spent as much time out in New Mexico as I have like in West Texas, but yeah, because I know when I've been like in the Panhandle of Texas, there was wasn't unusual for it to be completely clear. Yeah, it's drawing me back in. Darn it. Like I was already in my head, I'm like, oh, I'm done. Like this thing just is failing. And now I'm looking at it and it's like, oh, I can't stop now. Yeah, that's interesting. That's really interesting. See, I guess I haven't spent as much time in that part of New Mexico. Mostly I've been more southern New Mexico. That said, it was funny. I remember I was driving from here to from Houston to LA. Not, it took a couple days, mostly because I was the only one driving. But uh, like we had a drought here, and usually it rains a lot here, but we had no rain. And the place where we had the worst rain was like in El Paso, like El Paso, and actually, yeah, that one time it was like literally one of the worst storms I've ever driven through was near El Paso, like very dry area usually, and it was crazy. It was bad. I think it was, and there was nowhere to go. Like you're out in the middle of the desert. There's no place you can seek shelter. This weekend should be nice there. That's cool. Yeah, supposedly here it's supposed to be like it claims, Astrospheric at least claims that tomorrow evening is going to be good. Friday's going to be good. Saturday's going to be good. Sunday looks like it maybe it'll be good. So, I mean, we have kind of like this high pressure system over here, over us here. Well, it's not just here, but it's affecting us. And so I think that's helping to clear out the clouds. The other positive side effect is it keeps hurricanes away, which after we already had one hurricane this year. Yeah, flash flooding. Yeah, that was another thing. I remember running into that like again out in the desert where it poured and then like this it was a dry creek turned into this like raging river for a few hours and then it went away. It was the weirdest thing. Do you have a weather site where you see satellite images? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like this is theoretically, well, wait. Layers, cloud. Like theoretically, it. There was another site I was using, but yeah. See, look, it does show cloud, kind of drifting around here. Yeah. Actually, what does it say? Yeah, I don't know that it's going to get better, at least according to this. maybe like really late it might get better, but I'm not trying to stay until like 2, 3 in the morning. What does it show tomorrow? Yeah, tomorrow looks better. Yeah. There was some other website I used where it had the satellite. Yeah. Yeah, it's um the Raspberry Pi What OS. If you're talking about this one right here, this is just the normal Raspberry Pi OS. Um, weather satellites. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Let me look. Yeah, they have like the blue marble ones. Oh, yeah, there's so much dust. Gosh, they have all the different bands. True color daytime multispectral. There's so many options on this one. And I know I found one where it was just like a more straightforward one. See, this doesn't show anything. At least nothing big enough. But yeah, yeah. Windy? Windy is it a weather website? Yeah, okay. Yes. Windy weather. Windy weather. Always finding new ones. I do like these with the wind, kind of showing the wind vector. Do I do satellite? Yeah, see, sometimes some of these don't, like the clouds are so faint sometimes that like they don't show up on some of the photos, which is annoying. Yeah, windy is great. I'll look at this some more. Thanks. Oh yeah. So cosmic ray. I'm run the screen I'm sharing is on my Mac and I'm running Arc, the Arc browser. Yeah. I like Arc. I really like Arc. I've been using it for I don't know, a year. I don't think maybe not a full year, but I've been using it for a while. I've been pretty happy with it. But yeah, let me go back to the live view. See now it's pulling me back in. Okay, fine. Let me yeah, so both of the Seestars are being controlled by ALP, Seestar ALP. But these are actually running on, let me switch to my primary view. They're actually running on this website you see, or that was on the screen, is running off this Raspberry Pi. Wi-Fi, it has built-in Wi-Fi, but I was testing out this USB Wi-Fi that I had sitting around. And I had it plugged into a monitor, but it's not hooked up now. But it's literally, like you can see, it's powered. It's actually, I'm trying not to accidentally mess up the power cable. But yeah, this is what you see here on the screen, and these logs are running on that Raspberry Pi. Originally I was running it on my Mac, but what happened was, because I'll do it during the live stream, and then a couple of times I closed the laptop because like after the stream was going, it was done, and I was still imaging some things. And I closed the laptop, and then I realized, oh wait, the software was running on the laptop. So I've started running it on the Raspberry Pi just to avoid that. Okay, yeah, yeah, okay. Thanks for joining, Cheap Astro. Appreciate it, and thank you. Hopefully the skies will remain clear, at least for a bit longer. And this is actually, it's not an M2, this is an M1. It's like an M1. I got it when the M1 MacBook Pros first came out. I also got an Air at some point, but the M1 Air. But yeah, this is an M1 Max. So it's wait, what year did it? What year, model year was that? It is a 2021. So old timey. It's almost 3 years old. Can't believe I've had it that long. No, 2.5 years. Yeah, but it runs great. So I haven't upgraded it. Yeah. So since it decided to be clear, I will wait. Yeah. Although this, watch, I'll reschedule something and then the clouds will roll in again. But we'll go ahead and try. And actually, since this one failed, and it's waiting until 11:30 or 11:40, I'm going to go ahead and stop that, and I'm going to reschedule this globular cluster. So I stop it. I'm going to clear it, and then I'm just going to image NGC 7006, and so one of the I haven't is this the ALP screen? Yeah, this is the web interface. I have the IP address of my Raspberry Pi, but sometimes I connect by host name. But yeah, this is the and if you saw the video I created, if you saw the video I created, where I show installing the Seestar ALP on a Raspberry Pi, that image and that Raspberry Pi is what I'm running right now. So it wasn't just a pure demo. That's the version I'm actually running at this moment. Yeah, I mean, it's I had accumulated a few Raspberry Pis. I mean, I haven't tried this image on a Pi 3. Theoretically, it should work, even though it's a 64-bit image, but it should work. If not that image, a different image, you could run it on a Pi 3. I'm running only on Pi 4. I'm currently running on a Pi 4, and some people I think have done a Pi 5 and it works fine. So I'm just going to do this for 900 seconds, and we'll try that. And actually, because this is the one that the Seestar that I actually have in the app, I can go ahead and preemptively bring this up, and I will start it. So theoretically, oops, went to the it should be going to the object. So All Sky is on a different Pi. This All Sky is running on another Pi 4 I have, and the camera is actually, some people run the All Sky camera with these ZWO cameras, but I'm actually running it on a Raspberry Pi HQ camera. Very, very similar to this one. This I was doing a lot of projects a few years ago, 3 years ago, so I ended up buying a bunch of Raspberry Pi stuff for different purposes. Anyway, this is a Pi HQ camera, uh, basically what this all sky camera is using, and it's but I'm using a different lens. Like this is a fisheye lens, and I have a narrower lens on here mostly because of all the obstructions. If I had this lens on that Raspberry Pi, you would mostly see buildings. You wouldn't see much of the sky. So I picked one that was mostly just sky. Yeah. Yeah. So what modules? I don't think I have a whole lot of modules. I do have this thermal camera overlay, because it turned out I actually had the thermal sensor. There's, let me, all sky camera modules. I forget which, was it this one? No. Sky. Okay, yeah, here. So they boilerplate cloud. I think I had installed some of them, but I don't actually have them enabled. Like they have one that does AI kind of cloud recognition. I haven't turned that on. I actually have some of these light sensors. I haven't used it. This is the thermal sensor I have, the MLX 9640. I got it from Adafruit, which for people who don't know, it's a great place to get Raspberry Pi stuff. They have a rain sensor, but like I say, I don't have any of these enabled, but I have thought about using like the cloud detection one, which is the AI one, I think. I mean, theoretically mine does, but in practice, I find I have to keep it running. Let me see. I have to keep it running like past midnight or something. Yeah, see, that didn't do anything. Yeah, this didn't do anything. Now the kilogram, yeah, it did some of the kilogram. But like you really have to, like a lot of times I'll shut mine down because mine is not weatherproof. So I'll end up having to, I shut it down when I bring everything in for the evening, or for the night. But yeah, it ends up generating those at some point. I don't remember the exact time, but if I shut it down before it's had a chance to generate it, it won't generate it. But yeah, it didn't do the star trails, but it does do the kilograms. And the time lapse. This is going to be, yeah, let's see, you can see, since I started this one before sunset, this was on the 1st, so last Thursday. And I have my exposure set fairly short, so the time lapse is particularly granular, I guess you could say. And so you can see the stars now moving. Oh yeah, this is cool. That's cool. I don't think I've actually watched the time lapse of it when they were actually tracking stuff. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah. It's funny watching them like, yeah. Yeah, and then I had them park, and then I shut everything down. And yeah, it's funny because I haven't actually played these time lapses. I've I mean, I knew it was making them. I haven't looked at it. Oh, see, look, you saw me at the beginning there. I was still setting it up. This was last Wednesday. Um, Definitely were a lot of clouds that night, but yeah, and but yeah, I have the time set to like take photos like the default might be twice a minute or something, and I have it like every few seconds, every 5 seconds or something. So the daytime time lapse is really, it takes a lot longer than some people's time lapses you see where that I do I am getting a kick out of watching the telescopes like move, and that's cool. It's like, oh, and you can see them tracking as they're like pointing at stuff, and then yeah, that's cool. Um, yeah, that Andromeda Mosaic, I got the Mosaic started. I was able to rerun it, but I need a lot more data because I tried to process it and it just, I need a lot more data. Um, to get the images off the Pi, um, actually, I mean, I don't, like off the all sky camera, I don't. I just leave it, clouds. I just leave it running and, and it deletes old things. Like you can see, it only has a few days of worth of information there, so it just kind of ages it out. I don't pull things off now. I could, and I have a few times where I because it's on my wireless network, I just SCP things off, but it's usually too slow if I do it because it's out in the backyard and it's got a weak signal. So to do a lot of transfer, I'm honestly, I think there's a couple times where I've brought it in and powered it up and just plugged an Ethernet cable into the Pi and then copied stuff off of it. But usually I don't copy stuff off of it. Once I have this permanently mounted, I do want to enable sharing. Like there's a map where you can see all the different all sky cameras, and I do want to turn that on, but I haven't done it yet. Oh, how do you search for events off the all sky? I don't know. I think I've seen people, they just take the time lapses and just upload them. Um, and those time lapses were like a minute each. So you could always. I was wondering about that the other day or it's happened more than once where I have a plane fly over and I see the trailing, but it's usually for such a short period it doesn't show up on the time lapse, I think, or maybe it's just a single frame on the time lapse. Because at night it's updating every 15 seconds at night, every 6 seconds during the day. So like there'll be a single frame with a plane trail in it, but that's it. Yeah, the weather is definitely messing with me. It was like I was ready to call it an evening, and then it got completely clear, and now it's gotten even worse. Um, but yeah, I need to do more with the the all sky camera. Um, some kind of photo database. No, no. That's something that I've kind of struggled with, just because I have a lot of not just astronomy photos. I have just a lot of photos in general. Um, I do keep all my photos, all the Seestar photos on a NAS, on network attached storage, and I just kind of I try to keep it organized by target, but there's a lot, and but I don't have it. I don't have it in a database. Although that, I mean, like the NAS is pretty good because it's so long as I put everything in one place, which I do uh, with the NAS, because I used to have stuff scattered on different hard drives, but now like I'll pull data off and I might put it on an external SSD, but I don't delete it off the Seestar until I've copied it to my NAS, and then once it's on the NAS, like I was going through this project of finding all these, kind of reprocessing all the Messier objects I've taken photos of, and a lot of these aren't on my computer anymore, they're on the NAS. And so I went through and I you know for both telescopes, and I have it organized by telescope. I don't know, I guess I did that intentionally just because I wanted, yeah. Anyway, it's fine. But I was going through and basically pulling off all the M objects off. Add a database to ALP. I don't know. I'll have to think about that, like how to do that. I was actually thinking of adding a SQLite database. I have to clear off the storage periodically. I tend to be very conservative about deleting stuff until I have it on at least a couple of different things. So I'll copy it to an external SSD and to my NAS, and then my NAS once a night does an incremental backup to cloud storage. So I have, once I've got it on my NAS and my NAS is backed up to the cloud, then I'll delete stuff off the Seestar. But like on this screen, yeah, I've got 24 gig free on that one and 32 free on this one. But I've taken, I don't even know how much, not as much as some people, mostly because of my bad sky conditions. But let me see if I can even, let me see. No, I can't get to my NAS right now. But yeah, I definitely have had to clear off a lot off my Seestars because I have taken a lot. I've had them for a while. Sky Tour live stream about to come out with all their images. Okay. Sky Tour. Sky Tour. Are they on YouTube? Oh, hey. I'm guessing it's this one. I mean, there's so many astronomy streams. I'll have to check this one out. That's cool. Yeah, I'll have to try that. Check this one out. Thanks. Yeah, I'm always running across new channels, new streams. But yeah, I wonder, how is it going? And then let me look at the schedule. Okay, this one is not running. So, oh, it might have even completed. Let me look. Let me see if it completed or just failed. Let me see. 7,000, 7,006. So this is that, I think it's the same Seestar. Unfortunately, it only picks one of them. So no, I don't think this is the one. I think this is the other Seestar that I'm looking at. The drive on it. So unfortunately, so I'm not sure if that actually succeeded or not, but I will check that out. And this one is also not running. So, STLS remote scope in Arizona. Oh, that control from Connecticut. That's cool. Yeah, I mean that would be a. I've thought about that, and there's that new remote hosting um, place in Texas, and the prices aren't too bad. I mean it. Yeah. Although the Seestar, I think that might be kind of problematic. I know some people have talked about doing it with the Seestar, but because of the way it works and the fact it works off Wi-Fi. Thanks. Hi. Enjoyed the live stream. Yeah. Thanks, Gary, for joining. I appreciate it. I do appreciate it, and I might be calling a night too here, mostly because these clouds are just very frustrating. It doesn't seem to be getting better, but tomorrow and or Friday, I think I am going to do a live stream. But this has just been kind of the clouds have been consistent enough that the imaging sessions have just not. I haven't been able to image for any length of time before it started failing. So, I'm not going to keep fighting this. So yeah, I think I'm going to call it a night. Thanks for everybody for tuning in. Like I say, if you want to check out tomorrow, keep an eye out for it. I'll probably live stream tomorrow and or Friday. Hopefully both. And yeah. Like I say, thanks for joining, and I will see you all in the next video. And until then, have a good day or night or whatever, wherever it is where you are. I'm starting to ramble. It's late. Bye. Good night.